The fighting genre has been massive ever since those big hitters like Street Fighter and Double Dragon hit the arcades back in the 1980s. With conversions later appearing on the first home computers and consoles of the day. Okinawa Rush was a passion project to celebrate many of these classic games, and it does so at every single level. Not only does it look amazing with eye-popping pixel art graphics and animation, have an incredible soundtrack, boasts heaps of personality, it's also a blast to play as well. I was really keen to find out more about this game and how it came about, and I created this short film just to do that. Enjoy.
I hope you don't mind that I bought some guests.
Oh? And who might they be?
My fists.
Development of Okinawa Rush began back in 2012, headed up by British game developer Steven Miller, although the concept and early development around the basic game engine began much earlier. But as the team were then still working full-time on other things, there were big gaps in the game's progress. Steven and the team believed they were onto something special, but to ensure they weren't just living in their own bubble, they took the game out to the public to demo it and get direct feedback, and the gaming public loved it. To the point that competition even to feature on the online leaderboard from just the demo level was fierce. Confidence in their title just grew and grew as it was shown at more public events. One aspect which pleasantly surprised the team was just how diverse the age range was of the gamers who enjoyed it. The co-op element really proved a hit too, partially down to the mechanic that, if one player died, the other player can use Reiki to rescue them. So, quite uniquely, there are no extra lives as such. As long as one player is alive, the game can always continue.
So Steven and the team knew from this they're onto something really special with the game. But for them to fully invest in the game, to give it the energy and the time it deserved, they'd need some finance. So they went to Kickstarter. Thankfully, the reaction from the gaming public was amazing, and a minimal goal of £10,000 was reached in 2017.
One incentive the Kickstarter campaign offered was giving backers of a certain tier the opportunity to have their names appear alongside the villagers in the game. Kickstarters could also customize their villager in terms of clothes and hat colors. With the required financial goals having been met, it was all systems go for the team, and Steven's brother David came on board full-time as an artist and co-designer of the game. The team was also expanded to include Gary Angeloni, who handled the console ports, French programmer Julien Magna, and Mike Brassica Wright, who's provided much of the soundtrack. For young boys Steven and David, the Commodore 64 and Commodore Amiga period was a golden and very influential era, as they spent many happy hours playing the big hits of the day, such as The Way of the Exploding Fist, Bruce Lee, International Karate Plus, the beautiful and timeless pixel art graphics employed by the talented Bitmap brothers on the Amiga, with such titles as Speedball 2, Gods and the Chaos Engine, had a huge influence on the brothers, and really paved the way on how Okinawa Rush would come to look years later.
A dark force is stirring in a hidden underground location on this remote island, northwest of Tamari. Okinawa.
The choice behind the setting for the game was really down to Steven's passion for martial arts, for Tai Chi, Kung Fu and Karate, and how karate actually originated from Okinawa.
Okinawa is a Japanese prefecture, comprising more than 150 islands in the East China Sea between Taiwan and Japan's mainland. It's known for its tropical climate, broad beaches and coral reefs. The game is set in a fictional parallel world close to this, featuring monsters, magic and fantasy, providing the team the freedom to introduce a multitude of characters and locations. The supernatural elements of the game also take their cues from Japanese and Okinawa mythology. In particular, Tengu are featured in the game, who were originally thought to take the forms of birds of prey and a monkey deity. And Jaboko, which is a tree demon, is the name of one of the bosses. Legend has it that Jaboko was an ordinary tree until a seed of the tree landed on a pool of blood and grew on that spot. As the roots of the tree absorbed the blood, the tree became dangerous, as it transformed into something unholy that did not belong to this world. From then on, the tree snatched people up and killed them ruthlessly.
The Black Mantis Clan, an ever-growing, ruthless gang of ninja assassins who prize wealth and power above all. Those that have heard of them dare not speak their name, yet those that have encountered them rarely live to tell the tale.
All the graphics were developed from the ground up using Fusion 2 for programming and sprite editing. No stock elements were incorporated. Likewise, the combat and movement system was created from scratch, and many new features were gradually added as the game evolved from a single-player experience with the handful of modes first shown in the early demo.
One of the many touches I love about this game is when you rescue the villagers on each level and the resulting animation. It really reminds me of the way you free captured soldiers in the classic Metal Slug series. Another nod to that era of arcade classics.
The game finally offered 3 playable characters, 9 endings to unlock, and of course the 2-player co-op play as well, with more dynamic features, such as allowing the player to interact with the environment. It even features a Street Fighter 3 style parry mechanic, which can be used on anything, including spike traps, falling boulders, incoming attacks, and other dangers. Steven always wanted to create a game that would combine 2 of his favorite genres, a brawler, but also feature some mechanics from his beloved fighting games, and Okinawa Rush certainly delivered on that vision. All the team were involved in composing the game's soundtracks and sound effects, using software including Audacity and Mad Tracker 2. The musical score really complements the visual style, theme and era the game celebrates, and is certainly a highlight of the overall experience. On release of Okinawa Rush in October 2021, reaction to the game was overwhelmingly positive, with the average critic reviews scores coming at 81 on Metacritic, and more importantly, user Metacritic scores averaging 83.
So there we have it, Okinawa Rush, one of the most enjoyable video games I've played in a long, long time. A passion project of a group of very, very talented individual developers who set out to make the game that they always wanted to make.
Okinawa Rush is currently available on Steam.